fair for students. Some of these schools are some of the most expensive schools we have in America. People pay a lot of money to go to these schools. They borrow money to go to these schools, and you can't even go to class because some lunatic who's covering their face is running through campus, spray painting things, harassing people, and they're in my country as a guest. We want them out. Every one of them I find, we're going to kick them out. On your first question, we don't talk about spheres of influence. The United States is an Indo-Pacific nation. We have relationships with Japan, South Korea, the Philippines. We're going to continue those relationships. My problem with China is twofold. The first is we haven't, in many cases, we don't have American companies that have shown an interest in investing in a country, so they don't show up. You leave them with no option. My second problem is in a lot of these countries, the Chinese companies go in, they do a terrible job. Not a bad job, a terrible job. I just came from Guyana where we had to drive on a road the Chinese built. Were you were on the trip with us?
Yeah.
Or did you have to go on this road?
Yeah.
Okay, we almost all had concussions because the road was so bad. It was terrible. They paid these people to build this road, and then they bring their workers. They don't hire you. They bring their workers in to do all the work. And then, or they want you to borrow a bunch of money and then they hold it over your head. So what I want is for countries to have an alternative to that. What we want is for countries to have an alternative to that. If you're going to build a road, I want you to have a real road. They were better off with the dirt road than the road we were just on. And it's not the fault of the current administration. You know, in Guyana, that was a road that was built before, but they did a terrible job. If you did that job in America, someone would sue you for a lot of money. Okay, it was a bad road. So we want to be able to ensure that we are providing alternatives.
The United States Secretary of State condemned the road in Guyana. Now, the government of Guyana, the PPP, lied to Marco Rubio. First, they told him the Chinese built the road. And second, they said the road was built by the former administration. Gambana can lie. The guys from the PPP are liars. As a matter of fact, people in the US are seriously questioning whether or not they can rely on anything the government of Guyana says. And I think part of the problem with the PPP is the Guyanese people. The Guyanese people tolerate all sorts of abuse from these people in the PPP. All sorts of abuse. I mean, they told the Secretary of State they didn't build the road. The only truth about they didn't do something is that they did not come up with the concept for that road. Desmond Hoyt came up with the concept for that road. Right? And they got the Chinese, they got their people to come and build this road. My understanding is that the contract is Orfinelli's personal friend from Trinidad, an East Indian man. East Indian supremacy. And listen, we got to disabuse ourselves that, you know, of being scared to be called racist when we call out East Indian supremacy. That's what it is. They think that their ethnicity is supreme to everybody else. That's not racist. That's calling out racism. And because of the PPP's philosophy of East Indian or ethnic supremacy, the country can't develop. They're a thief all the money for their ethnicity. They're giving all the contracts to people from their own ethnic collective. That's supremacy. It's racist supremacy. It's like white supremacy. They're ethnic supremacists. And then they want to lie. Oh, the road was there before. Lie, the road, the PPP government built the road. And the road was built by Orfinelli's friend. And we want to know if they're going to let the road stand. The Secretary of State got so confused. He called the road, he said the airplane. Then he corrected himself. He felt like he was in turbulence above. So he likened it to an airplane. But the PPP government lied to the United States Secretary of State. Lied. These people don't know how to tell the truth. They just lie and lie and lie, lie. The first thing that must come to your mind when you see them is lie. If anybody from the PP tell you, run, tiger coming, don't move, please, don't move. Because what they're doing is letting you run into the tiger. Keep sharing the link, everybody. These people are liars. Now, they boast up, within our administration, we had 3 secretaries of state. 3 secretaries of state visit Guyana because of the confidence they have in the PP government. Oh, give me a break. What confidence in the PP government? The United States government pursue their interests in tracks. If they don't have one track mind, they do it in silos. Law enforcement investigation going on, that watching all the people with the drugs, and they're pursuing their diplomacy because they have to protect American interests and they have to pursue American interests. They don't have confidence in the PP. The American government has confidence in their interests, both strategic and national. Strategic interest, national interest. In Guyana's case, it's both. Guyana is important now, both to their strategic interests and national interests. You think anybody care? Who in the United States government care about Anil Nanlala, the coke that we got on the head and on his skin? He's like, the United States government has confidence in. Which United States official care about Anil Nanlala, who's a killer? Which United States government care about Anil Nanlal, who's a pathological liar? He's pathologically mendacious, according to the Jamaican MP. Rob up your head, dab up your head, this coke that tell you some spit. And put on a sunglasses. United States has confidence in me. The entire United States government already know Anil Nanlal is a liar, and some of them are saying he should be disbarred. United States government officials are saying Anil Nanlal should be disbarred. I'm talking to Mark there. He's getting some issues link joining. Right? Next thing you know, so we have 23,000 people watching now. 23,000 people. So next thing you know, President Trump imposed 38% tariff on all items exported from Guyana into the United States. And then by gone quiet. What are we going to do? What are we going to do now, man? What are we going to do? I'm going to put the tariff on away. Lumber, catfish, gale baka, coconut water. Could you imagine in cabinet? Are we rice, oil? Well, the oil is an interesting point. Keep sharing the link, everybody. Because I'm sure oil exported from Guyana by Exxon into the United States is subject to the 38% tariff. And under the profit sharing agreement, Guyana pays all the taxes. So even if Exxon pays the taxes to the United States government, the tariff is tax, it's expense out. It's expensed out from the monies the Guyana gotta receive. Sorry, I'm responding to Mark. Yeah. So these guys are paying a lobbyist 100 million Guyana dollars. $100 million Guyana dollars a month. And the lobbyist can negotiate favorably or lobby favorably on Guyana's behalf. But let me tell you what the lobbyist does. The lobbyist is to target Black people in America. That's what the lobbyist is really interested in doing. The lobby, and by the way, how in God's name is Guyana charging 76% tariff on goods imported to Guyana from the United States, goods exported from the United States to Guyana? How in the world is that possible? I mean, I want the government of Guyana to acknowledge that the information put out by the Trump administration with regard to the tariff they're charging is true. Share the link, everybody. How in God's name it is reasonable? I'm not sure if this is connected to the CARICOM trade arrangement to discourage CARICOM member states from purchasing goods and services abroad, outside of the region. It's possible. But that make no sense. But look at the devastating effect the tariff will have on Guyanese goods coming to the United States. Coconut water, rice, sugar, fish, shrimp, casrip, spices, teas, a lot more products, gold, oil. Like every Guyanese store, or not even Guyanese restaurant, a lot of Caribbean restaurants you go, you see Dave's coconut water, Dave's cherry juice, Dave's golden apple juice. And it's expensive, it's $6. It's gonna go with that 30% tariff, it's gonna go towards like probably 12. Then I'm gonna increase the 100%. It's gonna go to like $10. And people are not gonna buy it. But this is the PPP. Their entire intelligence operation, their entire police operation is geared towards stopping people from talking, stopping people from criticizing them. In the meantime, crime is going off the chain. Not focus on that. Focus on how to stop people from protesting against the government. Same thing with the lobbyists. The lobbyists is in Washington. $100 million at the end of the year. At the end of the year, that's 12 by 100 million. That could build a primary school. And the lobbyists can't even negotiate fairly or lobby the government not to impose this kind of tariff on Guyanese. Right? And then let's come to the Melly issue. Now first there are two things. So Mark is saying that he can't, let me see if I could get him. Mark is saying that he can't get onto the program. So Mark is saying he can't get onto the program. I'm not sure why. And so Mark and Melissa Atwell were supposed to join us tonight. I'm not sure what's going on with the connection to the studio, but I'll keep waiting. So we were deliberately silent with regard to rum. Sorry, thanks, Errol. Somebody just reminded me, rum. Rum is a big export of Guyana's. Right? It was very clear from the beginning that the PPP government was involved in Melly's detention. And we were strategically silent, but they thought our silence was, they underestimated our silence, miscalculated the silence. And Melly said it, now that she's out. And I was always confident. Melly's not a criminal. She has no criminal history. She's not involved in any credit card fraud. These people make all this stuff up. And they make it up against Afro-Guyanese. Make no question about it. The perception of people in the PPP, and they have conditioned and programmed even Black people in the PPP to think that Black people outside of PPP who criticize them are criminals. It is a philosophy deeply rooted in white supremacy and apartheid policies. These cockabelly racists from Unity and all over, they ain't got no respect for Black people. And so as not to get our leaders here, politicians, government officials, community leaders, and so on in America, not to listen to the complaints we have. They try to discredit us by calling us criminals. And they have the audacity to get people like Clifford Hicken and Blenheim and Caesar to frame people, fabricate crimes of us here in America from Guyana, abuse of the power of government, abuse of the police force, abuse of the coercive arms of the government to target Black people, African Guyanese. But they continue to do it because Guyanese allow them to do it. So specifically, they target me, Mark, and Melly. And they tried to destroy Mark Benschop's life, by framing him again. Put him in jail for treason and then let you go after 5 years. And you know what? They got away with it because we black people allowed them to get away with it. We Guyanese allowed them to get away with it. We Afro-Guyanese, we Indo-Guyanese, we Amerindian Guyanese, we mixed Guyanese, we allowed them to get away with putting Mark in jail. Then they start to kill out Afro-Guy on the Bar Jagdeo, murdered, slaughtered, used death squads to kill out black people, young black men. And we allow them. President Granger is partially responsible because Granger should have put Barrett, the whole gang, in jail, just like they did to Mark. David Granger is partly responsible for this. He campaigned on justice. And then he got into power and he sat on his laurels and did nothing to ensure that people receive justice. In what country you could kill out 1,400 people? Just zoop, and there's no justice. In Suriname, there's about to see the former president orchestrated the killing of 14 people and he was sentenced to jail, convicted of murder. And Barrett Jagdeo orchestrated the killing of over 1,400 people. And every Thursday, he said on this community, laughing at us, yeah, I kill y'all, we are going to do what it. And he got the audacity to call black people who criticize it criminals. And we accept it. We accept it. And then he sends out people like James Bond and other blacks, Mark Phillips, to rationalize it and say, no, that's police brutality. It was not police brutality. Extrajudicial killings was not done by the police force. It was done by the PPP, led by Barrett Jagdeo, Roger Khan, and Ronald Gadraj. Barrett Jagdeo orchestrated the killing. He formed the death squads. He created the avenues to revenue to fund it. Barrett Jagdeo is responsible for the murder of over 1,400 young black men in Guyana. And no black person is supposed to support him. None. But what they do is starve the people. You know, like when you starve a dog, or starve a sheep or a pig or a cat, and then you dangle some meat or piece of bread or some milk in front of them. That's what the PP does. And our people fall for it. So they've arrested every person in Guyana that speaks out against the PPP. And they can't tell me about democracy. They can't contest it. Everybody in Guyana that speaks out or spoke out against the PPP government has been arrested. So we in the diaspora took up the man could be like, no. And Anil Nanlal and Barrett Jagdeo, but particularly Anil Nanlal. Anil Nanlal has been writing the US government about Rickford Burke and Melissa Atwell. And nothing, I will prove to you tonight that nothing Anil Nanlal has said to the US government about African Guyanese living here who criticize the PP is factual. Nothing. The man is a deadly liar. Nothing. So what they did, whenever Justice Department officials go to Guyana, Anil Nanlal don't discuss nothing else but Rickford Burke, Melissa Atwell. You know what he says to them? They're over there committing crimes in Guyana. They're calling Indian businessmen and rob them. They're committing credit card fraud. That's what they do. And they have been bombarding the US government about Melissa Atwell and Rickford Burke. Anil Nanla. Lies. If y'all don't believe me, Anil Nanla complained to the United States government about me 8 times. 8. Anil Nanla, who was allegedly involved in the murder of Courtney Comewing. He was arrested for thieving government assets. He's the criminal. He was investigated for the murder of a black man. Tell me which attorney general anywhere in the world, anywhere in the Caribbean, anywhere in the Western Hemisphere with that kind of criminal history could be attorney general. People from the Marshal Services go to Guyana, he complained Rickford Burke. Rickford Burke is talking about me and committing crimes in Guyana. The man is a criminal investigated for murder. Let me read you 2 of the letters he wrote. They think we want to get it. And they get away with it because we, black people, we East Indian Guyanese, we Guyanese, allow them to get away with it. Here one of the letters Anil Nanla write. To the United States Attorney General about Rickford Burke. The government and citizens of Guyana, once again, wish to register their deep concern in respect to Rickford Burke, a Guyanese national living in the United States, living in Brooklyn, New York, rather, who continues to use social media to launch almost daily attacks against the government and citizens of Guyana, with the clear and evident intention to excite racial hostility among the different races and classes and citizens, and incite ethnic strife, encourage criminal violence, and cause public disorder, mayhem, and terror across the length and breadth of Guyana. Now you tell me, which government in the world is going to receive something like this from an attorney general, not knowing the attorney general is illegitimate, not knowing the attorney general that writing this letter is a criminal, not knowing the attorney general who writes this letter is a con artist, not knowing the attorney general who wrote this letter, thief, is a thief, prosecuted for thieving government assets? The man went on to write, these publications by Rickford Burke constitute several criminal offenses within the state of Guyana. First of all, the Attorney General of Guyana got laugh. Of the United States must bust a laugh there. Because he started off on the premise that I live in the United States. He went on to say that these, my so-called comments are on social media in the United States. But then he went on to say, Burke's comments in the United States constitute a crime in Guyana. He said Rickford Burke comments cause irreparable damage to the character and reputation of government officials. But before, he said Rickford Burke targeted the whole country and Rickford Burke terrorizing the whole citizenry. But suddenly, he got back here. The man ain't even bright enough to be consistent. He said he is damaging reputation of PPP government officials. Right? and public officers. Whomever he decides is the subject of his vicious, vitriolic rantings. They are intended to cause irreparable harm and damage to race relations in Guyana. Them they say, them coconutile, cackabelly racists, right? Who kill out 1,400 black people. That not cause irreparable damage to race relations, right? Because they don't see us as human beings. But me, my comment like this, that is intended to condemn and denounce racism, damages race relations in Guyana. Right? But it's not though. It's because 32,000 people watching this show right now. That is it. That is what I'm frightened. Now, he went on to say, well, the scheme of Bill of Rights of the Constitution of Guyana, inter alia, freedom of expression, fundamental rights, blah, 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 blah. Freedom of expression in the article does not relate to hate speech. He calling this hate speech. Anil Nanlal, who seem to get some sort of erotic pleasure from attacking black women, especially people like Melly, he talking about hate speech. Right? And he went on and on and on. We have made several complaints to the United States government. Our embassy has also made several complaints with the U.S. State Department with respect to Burke. And I'm closing copy of all of these letters for your record. This crab louse racist who has been investigated for the murder of a black man who was a former Guyana defense officer who defended the country, right in the State Department, and said, this black man here, Rickford Burke, can't talk for me. And he has been doing the same thing for Melly Mel. Lies. Now, anybody could tell me what part of Guyana I cause riots? Can anybody tell me there? Anybody in Guyana? Can you guys tell me where me cause riots in Guyana? Can you guys tell me where I'm causing massive race relations problems in Guyana? And he's been doing, and we have all of the letters. But back up. This is the same person who Anil Nanlal went on national TV in Guyana and said that I am a convicted rapist in America, that I raped a child, and I'm on the sex offenders registry of America. This dog, what a dog. His eyes past black people, and he, in his letter, say that we are damaging the reputation of government officials. Can you name me one attorney general in the Caribbean who would go on national television and obliterate his integrity like that? He should have been disbarred. One of the FBI agents here called him a bullshitter. Excuse me. And he's calling, saying people are damaging. And I'm only doing it with relation to Melly. Will deal with it. And we will all deal with it collectively with Melly, about Melly's situation. So I said this to confirm, and we still are getting issues with the connection. I'm not sure what's going on. We're gonna do it back with Melly and Mark some other time when it's appropriate.